Hello, welcome to White Dark Tarot, where the reader is bubbly, but the readings can get dark. So let's get into Taurus September second half reading. We are going to start with the animal oracles. Ooh, lizard. Lion. And nightingale. Interesting. Let's see what this means. Lizard. Instinctual, sensitive to the subtle, dreamer. The lizard is an expert in the realm of sensory perception. As if it has a sixth sense, the lizard hears what is yet to be spoken and sees what is yet to manifest. Although this is an amazing gift, it can easily wear the lizard down. Big crowds, lots of travel, or overstimulation will drain a lizard of their magical essence. This card is an indication to pull back from the bright lights in big city and return to the inner artist who's been whispering your name. When in balance, artistic, telepathic, spiritual. When out of balance, elusive, noncommittal, flaky. To bring into balance, a creative project. As a Taurus myself, I am resonating with this. Let's just put it this way. I recently got the opportunity to just live life a little more slowly for a while. And I've found that my health is better. My mental health is better despite the circumstances. And I feel more tapped in. And that's actually exactly why I ended up deciding to finally start the YouTube channel. Because when you slow down and you don't have so much going on all the time, it almost feels like you kind of tap into your gifts. You tap into your soul a little better. And when you get to stay there, it's like the longer you get to stay there, the deeper it goes, is the only way that I can explain it. But that's what I've been noticing in myself lately. And, maybe it doesn't have to happen the way that it happened to me. Maybe it's just saying that right now there are a lot of Taurus people out there that probably need a vacation or something. All right, lion. Ooh, patient, regal, a complete master. The lion is a master of the fire element and the living mascot of self-transformation. A lion personality dedicates their life to personal and spiritual growth. This dedication inspires some and intimidates others. Therefore, the lion is respected by all, but known intimately by few. Some mistake the lion as hard to access or aloof, yet those with a keener eye know better. Lions are observant, stealth, and precise in their words and actions. They do not waste energy or resources. This card reminds us that self-mastery is available to all, no matter where our quest begins. Reiterating what I was just talking about. When in balance, the epitome of peace and strength. When out of balance, withdrawn, too serious. To bring into balance, daily meditation and friendship. That's another thing, is that surprisingly, my social life has only gotten richer since I started my little retreat. And friends are just such an important thing in life. It's hard to find good people, but I've found that somehow I've been blessed with so many of them. And it's been on my mind a lot lately. that the greatest gift in my life, the most valuable thing that I have in my life is my connections, my friendships. I watched my grandmother live most of her life and die single. She didn't have a partner. But I lived with her for about a year when I was 14 to 15. And almost every day she had people over at the house. The doorbell was constantly ringing, and it was always her friends dropping off something that they grew, something that they baked, something that they got her from a trip that they went on. And she had a very rich social life. And I could see myself living my life that way, living out my life that way, because that's kind of been the vibe at my house lately. Every other day there's someone walking in and out of my house. And I like it. It feels good to be thought of, to be seen, and to be valued. On the flip side, I've seen a lot of my relatives live and die alone. And it's not pretty. A lot of people, they refuse to do the healing. They refuse to do the inner work, and they think that the answer to their pain or their trauma is isolation. And they stick with it without really thinking about how unsustainable that is. Because what do you do when your back is against the wall and you have nowhere to go? What do you do when you lose everything all at once? What do you do when you're getting a procedure done and you need someone to pick you up from the hospital? Life isn't meant to be lived alone. But I've found that real connection happens when you heal first, and then you continue to heal through your connections. Real connection happens when you finally see your inner child and you learn to see the inner children in other people, and you let the kids connect. I think that's pretty much a lot of my friendships in a nutshell, is that we healed each other's inner children. My inner child, all she ever wanted was to feel safe. She wanted to feel accepted as she was, her quirkiness, her weirdness. And it wasn't until I put that inner child that I spent years protecting and hiding so fiercely to the forefront and allowed people to see her and tap into her, that I started to form genuine connections with people. So this card, to me, it feels like the mastery of self. It feels like the embodiment of self, knowing oneself deeper, and finding that that is the version of yourself that is capable of connection. But let's keep going. We have to keep going. But yeah, those two cards, they hit deep. Nightingale, Fearless voice, speech, communication, or song. The song of the nightingale is otherworldly. This simple brown bird, almost unnoticeable among the flashy plumage of other birds, transports its listener to the realm of poetry. Nightingale energy is with us when we write, compose, and especially when we sing. It reminds us that music heals the deepest wounds. This card indicates a need to open the bridge between the heart and the voice. Is there something you need to say? How long has it been since you sang? Turn it up, write it down, and let it out. When in balance, sings, speaks freely with kindness. When out of balance, shy, lump in the throat. To bring into balance, music. I have a feeling that there are some Taurians out there that are tapping into their deeper knowledge, their deeper truth, their spirituality, and heading towards finding their tribe and coming out with a message. Let's see where this is going. All right. Taurus, love. Oh, I already know where this is going. Sorry, my bearded dragon just threw a tantrum. In a momento, por favor. Ah, the moon. There he is. Okay. Okay. So we have here so far the devil, the two of swords, the 10 of wands, 3 of wands, son of wands. What else we have? The moon, the daughter of cups, the 9 of pentacles, the magician, the wheel of fortune, judgment, and the 10 of pentacles. No, judgment feels like it goes over here. Yes. All right. So, Taurus, it looks like in your past, there was, I would say, let's word it this way, a not so great energy. What just popped into my head is the devil is charming. I don't like using the word narcissist casually because it is a cluster B personality disorder. It's called narcissistic personality disorder. And labeling someone with a narcissist should be done a little more responsibly, I would say. And I wouldn't call this person a narcissist. They don't feel like a narcissist. I know they're showing up like the devil, I mean, as the devil, but this feels like someone who initially showed up great. They were attentive, they were thoughtful, they were caring, they were soft, they were sweet, they were kind. And then it's like at the flip of a switch, their energy changed. This feels domineering. This feels like somebody, this feels like a bully. Someone who does not speak to people that they care about like they care about them. I'm getting a very abrasive energy from this person. But with the Two of Swords being here, the blindfold, as I like to call it, it's like you didn't want to remember them that way. You remembered them for how they showed up at first. You remembered them for the best version of themselves that they showed you before things got too real and they got triggered and they took it out on you. You were holding on to the version of this person that you remembered them to be, that you knew that they could be, because that was what they showed you in the beginning. And perhaps with the Ten of Wands here, carrying that image of them, that version of them, into the present moment was burdensome. Contrasting who they were versus who they're showing you they are now weighed heavy on you. And you're in a space where you are praying that they heal, that they do the inner work, that they become again the version of themselves that they showed up with. Because you know exactly why they are the way that they are. You know the kind of pain and trauma that a person goes through to develop such coping mechanisms. Avoidance, stonewalling. You know that while it looks malicious, while it is hurtful and harmful, you know that they are operating from a place of fear and pain. And you empathize with that, and you're making that empathy your burden. Three of Wands. Three of Wands Feels like embarking on new territory. You're doing things differently this time. Because past Taurus before she learned her lessons, or he learned his lessons, would have continued to carry this and made it their problem. They would have enabled this. They would have continued with the I can fix them mentality. But this tells me that you know better this time. You have learned that when we think about how difficult it is for us to change ourselves, it is nearly impossible to change someone else. The best that you can do is plant the seed, wish them well, and close the door. You can't make someone else do the work. And you staying there with them through it is not going to make them do the work. People aren't projects. They aren't fixer-upper homes. They have autonomy. They have free will. And that free will is sacred. And however they choose to live their life, you have to honor that. Whether or not you agree with it, whether or not you think that it's good for them, you have to honor that and let them do what they choose to do. And if they decide that they want to perpetuate their own cycles because they're scared to face themselves, then you let them stay there. Son of Swords being here tells me that part of this burden is because when you finally decided to cut the cord, when you finally decided to say, I'm not going to tolerate this, that quick communication, that abrupt ending, part of you questioned if it was cruel. Part of you questioned if it was impulsive. You questioned whether you made the right decision or not. Because, like how it showed up earlier, you still have empathy for that person. You still have love for that person. You still care about that person. So part of your burden that you're bearing is questioning whether or not you did the right thing. And when we get to the moon here, it looks like you start healing, processing, picking apart your questions and your doubts and your fears and your pain one by one, rummaging around in the mess that this left and finding your answers. With the Daughter of Cups here, this feels like you came out soft still. Because it is the weak person's way out to take pain, this kind of pain, and choose to harden. It is the coward's way out to come out of this with a harder shell. This tells me that you did the brave thing. Some conclusions that you could have come out with, judgment, is that you can love someone and care for them and still decide that you can't be a part of their life. You can love someone and care for someone and still decide that there is a certain way that you will or will not tolerate being treated. That you could want to protect someone from every bad thing in the world and give them every good thing in the world, and still decide that they have to be accountable for what they did to you. And if they can't face that, if they can't take accountability, then that only shows you what their limitations are, not what you are worth. You managed to come out still soft, still loving, still caring, but more discerning, more decisive, more firm in your boundaries, more, I can want them in my life all I want, but if they can't put the effort into staying in it, then there's nothing I can do about that. In the outcome, we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is about foundation, stability, contentment with yourself. It feels like you've already done a certain amount of work before all of this happened, and you have a steady foundation, a good life to fall back on. You didn't lose everything because this was just one part of your whole story. And if you're falling back on a Nine of Pentacles, you're not doing too bad. Wheel of Fortune. In this reading, I'm just taking it as a symbol of good luck, as well as the Magician. Outcome, Ten of Pentacles. It seems that this experience showed you what you're made of. This experience showed you what you're worth. Because maybe you always knew it in your head. Like, oh, I wouldn't tolerate that. Oh, I wouldn't take that from a person. But maybe you hadn't gotten a chance to practice it yet. And then you did. And you stuck with your guns. You got to put your money where your mouth is. You got to practice what you preach. And that unlocked something in you. You leveled up somehow. This here is telling me that precisely because of this, you're about to attract some serious abundance. Well, Ace of Cups, a new opportunity. I think this came up in your last reading too. Yep, the Fool, the Hanged Man, seeing things from a different perspective, and the Three of Cups, harmony. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of new beginnings energy here. New opportunities in love, in work, because you haven't forgotten your own abundance. This didn't devastate you to the point that you feel like you lost everything. You remembered your own abundance. And when you come from a place of abundance, because the magician is about embodying what you want to attract. And so if you're coming from a place of abundance, you only attract more. When you're coming from a place of self-respect and self-love, you attract the love that respects you and loves you and knows how to speak to you like you are someone that they care about. The Fool, leaps of faith. The Three of Cups being here, some readers, they interpret it as reconciliation. But this to me poses a question. Rather than feeling like this is about reconciliation with that person, this poses a question. A lot of readers on TikTok or even YouTube here, there are a lot of readers who kind of prey on that space of vulnerability that people who had recently had their hearts broken or recently broke up with someone or got broken up with are in, by saying things like, your ex is coming back, your ex is going to come back, oh, I'm seeing a conversation in the future where they're going to tell you everything that they never told you, and they actually love you, they're just not showing it. They feed into the delusion of a broken heart. They feed into the fantasies of the brokenhearted, because that's what gets attention. It gives people the dopamine hit that they crave, and it causes a cycle of almost like drug addiction. They want that validation. They want to be told that they weren't the problem, the other person was, blah, blah, blah. And then on the other hand, even the more well-meaning channels, the readers that actually do read from a place of integrity, often their answer is just let them go. Let it go. Move forward. Forward movement only. But that's not how the heart works. Like we saw here, the heart remembers the good, even in an energy like that. The heart remembers why you loved them. And the heart will never let you forget it. Even when your mind knows that that is not how I would have been made to feel if they truly cared about me. Even when your mind knows that that isn't good for you. And it'll only end in heartbreak if you tolerated it. Even when your mind knows that the only alternative to closing the door was to keep the door open and continue to let yourself feel this way, to put up with their shit just so that you wouldn't lose them, their presence in your life, whether or not it was actually good for you. Even when your mind knows that you had no other choice. Even when your mind knows that you made the choice out of compassion for yourself and for them. Because the greatest gift that we can give one another is empowerment. And enabling someone takes that empowerment away. So yes, it came from a place of compassion for them and for yourself. Even when your mind knows that, your heart takes a while to catch up. And you can't just move forward as if it never happened. You have to process and you have to take the lessons. And that takes time. And that takes a lot of deliberate work. You can't just forget and move forward. That's not how it works. But this poses a question that I don't really see many people asking, many readers asking. The question is, if they do come back, will you still remember this? Will you still remember this? Will you still remember the lessons that you learned the last time around? If they did come back, can you stand your ground long enough to discern whether or not they've actually done the work? Because I believe that people can change. I believe in growth. I've seen it in myself. I've seen it in other people. I believe that it happens. But the sad truth is that not many people actually do it. Not many people really have the courage to dig down deep within themselves and face themselves and admit to themselves that they need to unfuck themselves. Not many people do that. They choose distraction. They choose to run. I believe that people can change, but I also know that it's rare that they do. So do you have it in you to turn them away if they come back without doing the work? And most importantly, if they never do come back, are you still okay with that? Ask yourself why you care, whether they come back or not. Is it because you want validation? Is it because you want them to come back and fix what they broke? Is it because your healing depends on them? Is it because this heartbreak made you feel like you weren't good enough and you want them to come back so that you can tell yourself that you were good enough after all? Why is it that you care whether or not they come back? These birds in the imagery are reminding me of something that I said in one of the golden egg readings. I think it was the second one. That love is open palm. Love is appreciating a bird on the other side of your window, taking it in, taking the time to observe it, vibrating at this frequency of love, even when you know that the bird will fly away. Because love doesn't hold, love doesn't own. Now, can you learn to love and let go at the same time? Can you learn to love someone else that hurts you while making decisions based on your love for yourself. Taurus, this isn't about them at all. This is about who you've become through them. And we can only hope that they do the same work and become better for meeting you. But even if they don't, that's their choice. You have to keep going anyway. Let go out of honor. Let go out of respect for their autonomy and their free will. You have an abundance of happiness in front of you. You have a lot to look forward to. Let your heart heal. Take the time you need for the lessons to sink in. Just remember where the light switch is. When you're ready to come back out, you have so much to look forward to. And I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of pulling more cards on this devil character to see how they turn out, because that's not for you to know. That part, that's up to the universe now. That's up to them now. It's not for you to know. All right, Taurus, work. Ah, there he is. I was wondering when he would show up. This time it's, at least in my life, it's a different person. There we go. All right. Well, Taurus, let's see here. We've got the devil, the Five of Cups, Father of Wands, Ace of Swords feels like a similar energy. Then we have Three of Swords, Six of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, Son of Pentacles, Father of Cups, Justice, and the World. Well, this looks like, honestly, this entire thing looks like a toxic workplace. It looks, like I mentioned in the Leo reading as well, like a very megalomaniac-y energy. In this case, it's micromanaging, it's controlling, it's domineering. There was someone in your workplace that felt like that to you. Father of Wands, Ace of Swords, the Five of Cups. It feels like initially it might have felt like a good job. It might have felt like a new home. It might have felt like, oh, yeah, I could probably retire here. But then the watering hole dried out. You started to feel more of this. This is someone that's impulsive. Father of Wands to me is someone that's not. He bites first, asks questions later. When the watering hole dried out, there was a part of you that was still holding on, but it was affecting your health. I mean, look at this horse. He looks tired. He looks worn out. And when this happened, when there was a sudden and abrupt revelation, whether it be that you ended up getting let go, or you ended up deciding to quit, or something happened where the company's just not going to make it, whatever this was, it was sudden. And when that happened, this feels like an initial sting. But with the Six of Wands being here, or Six of Swords being here quickly after, it feels like recovery. Seven of Pentacles is about investment and growth. You started investing into something else. You rerouted. You redirected. Because part of you already knew that this wasn't going to last. It wasn't healthy. Something tells me that you even already knew that this was going to happen. That's why it's not the Ten of Swords. It's not the Ten of Wands. It's just the Three of Swords. The impact feels small. The recovery feels quick. Because there was a part of you that already knew it was going to happen. And you instinctively knew why it needed to happen. Son of Pentacles. You have a plan. You have a plan, but you're keeping it to yourself. The Justice card is here. The Father of Pentacles feels like the outcome of the Seven of Pentacles. It feels like something that's more heart-based for you. Because when the watering hole dried out, you knew that you needed to replenish it for yourself. You have a plan, and you're nurturing yourself in this time. Justice and the world is here. Justice is about what is fair. Justice is karma. The world is the ending and the beginning of a cycle. Let's pull a couple more. Two of Pentacles. Eight of Swords. This feels like it belongs there. The Eight of Swords to me is a card of timing. Divine timing. If this butterfly emerges too soon, it won't be fully formed. If this butterfly emerges too late, it will die in the chrysalis. It's hanging on a sword. It's got swords pointing up towards it from the bottom. This is growth by pressure, trial by fire. Why is the Two of Pentacles here? This to me feels like Two of Pentacles is usually about juggling decisions, choices, but it feels like the juggling of conflicting emotions. Because there's something that you left behind in the situation that you did still love. This feels like nostalgia. Maybe you had some work friends that you really miss now. Maybe, yeah, this feels like you also lost something that was dear to you in all this, even though you knew it was for the best. That nostalgia still kicks in sometimes. This is loss, abandonment, memories. Father of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles. This is new. This is investing in something else. This is growing in a different direction. You know you need to move forward, but you still feel the loss of what you left behind. But it does look like the future outcome is good for this as well. So as a Taurus, I'm a little bit relieved to see this. All right. Now we do Taurus shadow work. If the cards are mean to me, okay. But that's why we're really here, right? Even when the message is mean or it feels mean, there's really nothing worse than to stay stagnant where you were, right? So growth is always welcome. Yeah. Okay. Holy crap. Right, y'all. 10 of Wands. Ooh, the Empress. Nice. Taurus showing up as themselves. Hell yeah. Sorry if that was super loud. I got excited. Woo! Father of Swords. Ooh, Daughter of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles. Ooh, I'm already hearing something. Okay. All right. 10 of Wands. 5 of Pentacles. No. 10 of Wands. 5 of Pentacles. Hanged Man. Okay. So many things. So many things. Mother of Cups. Daughter of Cups. Ace of Pentacles. Daughter of Pentacles. Ace of Wands. 3 of Wands. Temperance. The Empress. Father of Swords. Taurus, what I'm hearing is that you are letting go of your need for security. Well, let's reword that. You're starting to reframe what security is to you. I say that because the 10 of Wands is about burdens, heavy, heavy burdens, heavy, heavy feelings. 5 of Pentacles is here. And the fact that it's not a 10 of Swords, it's just a 5 of Pentacles, kind of ties into the Hanged Man energy of seeing things from a different perspective. It's like the weight of the loss felt heavier to you than what you actually lost. And you're reframing that in your mind. Like, it's almost like I feel sad. I feel lost. I'm grieving. But then when you really reframe in your head, what exactly did you lose? You're like, wait, I didn't lose much. That's what this feels like. Sorry if you're a cross watcher. And Taurians really don't like a shakeup. We don't like a shakeup. We don't like seeing the Tower card in our readings. We like consistency. We like stability. We like routine. We're kind of the backbone of the zodiac. We're the ones that, if Aries are the initiators, the Taurians are the ones that actually see it through to completion. We're the ones that put in the work. But it feels like with this Hanged Man, you're seeing things from a different perspective, and you're reframing what it means to hold on. And you're becoming choosier of what you hold on to. You're becoming less afraid of the possibility of new beginnings. You're starting to reframe loss as the opportunity for a new beginning. Because we have the Son of Cups, the Mother of Cups, the Ace of Pentacles, the Daughter of Pentacles, the Father of Swords, the Ace of Wands. These are all very, on an emotional level, on a material level, what brings you inspiration on a mental level. It's all here. It's like, yeah, you might have lost that. The 5 Pentacles. That's what? $1.25? You might have lost that, but you have all this. This feels like a softening of your heart, new opportunities on a material level. Daughter of Pentacles tells me that it's something that is more enjoyable, something that brings you joy to wake up to. Father of Swords, discernment is what comes to mind with this. Ace of Wands is passionate, new, daring, initiating. It feels like you're becoming less and less afraid of new. Because perhaps you've been through these shakeups a couple times by now. And you know that they always bring in something better once the dust settles. Say that because we have the 3 of Wands here again, embarking on a new journey. Temperance is about healing. And finally, we have the Empress. The Empress is the Queen of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, Queen of Swords, and Queen of Cups, all rolled into one. She is discerning. She is stable, steady, grounded. She is also feeling. She's in tune with her emotions. And her softness is not weakness. Her softness is love. And her love is brave. Her love is passionate. It looks like through these L's, you're beginning to step into, you see how all 4 of them are here, the cups, the pentacles, the wands, the swords. You're stepping more into this energy, more whole. Not so focused on holding on anymore. I was actually thinking about this the other day. Taurus is notorious for being stubborn. And we can be. But an unevolved Taurus is stubborn for the sake of being stubborn. They're stubborn because they can't stand to be told that they're wrong. They're stubborn because they resist change. They're afraid of it. They don't like change. But an evolved Taurus that has done the work, that's a different breed. They know they know which battles are worth fighting. They pick their battles. They know how to let other things just roll right off their shoulder. But when it's something that matters to them, they are absolutely unstoppable. When they have that one red flag to focus on, there is nothing that can get in their way. They live from a place of integrity, the type of person that will say it's the principle of the matter. Strict moral code is also what I'm hearing. And it feels like that's what you're starting to do. You're learning that not everything is worth holding on to. You're learning that letting go only opens up your hand for something else, something better, something new. And when you learn to collaborate with spirit like that, when you trust your resilience enough to take the lessons as they come, to put it to the test to what spirit has in store for you, that's when you become the Empress. Because when human resilience meets spirit, when they collaborate, amazing things can happen. That's where miracles come from. They don't just fall from the sky. They don't just fall into your lap. You have to rise to meet them there. And you are rising. Ooh, I love this. And this isn't just because I'm biased, because I'm a bull myself, but I love this. And it kind of tracks that Taurus's whole thing is going to be about letting go moving forward. Because Taurus has a hard time letting go. All right. Well, if you liked what you saw here today, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification button so that you can get a notification every time I upload another video. Comment to help me out with the algorithm, and I'll see you in the next one.